Name is Miller Bingham. Let me get my light on so I can show you. This is my starter rebuild kit. Bought out of White Pine, Tennessee. And rebuilding my original Ford starter. So far, I'm trying to get the camera to focus. Come on, focus. Like I said, it's not easy trying to get this camera to focus. There we go. I've done my starter brush rebuild kit. And like I said, I have done an excellent job. It's not really hard to, all you do is just take the starter drive out and everything else. Make sure you place your springs incorrect. Because if you do it incorrectly, these suckers will not work at all. Tried one time, even on a 12-volt system setup. And it looks purty because you have to clean them up too. Have to clean the insides out of them. Like I said, this is the whole deal. Try and get my camera to focus. Defocusing. Come on, there we go. But yeah, this is the whole shebang, and I had to put the new old ones. These old ones, oh man, they're just tore up. One of them got down to almost to the wire. Here's a good demonstration. Like I said, there's one that was in there that got torn up by the wire. Yeah, there we go. It tore up those brushes really bad. Like, it burned them up quick. And then I got the other two that are decent, but they're just not the best in shape either. So I went ahead. I like rebuilding starters compared to buying new ones. Just so you keep your original on your tractor. And these starter brushes, well, they've lasted me already almost close to, well, 11 months until they burned out, because you got a 12-volt system hooked up. And this time I've done a pretty good job. All I got to do is put the bolts in. I know I couldn't make a video of me taking it all apart. It's not really that hard. As long as, you know, anybody that can do this, I mean, anybody can do this. It's really not that difficult at all. I mean, as long as you know what you're doing, put your bolts in right. You got about almost 6" of bolt right here that goes down in here. You always got to make sure it goes down the hole. Feel the touch of threads. So that way you know what you're exactly doing. So that way when you put these threads in, there we go. It finally fell into the threads. And takes a 3/8 socket, English. And this is how you tighten down these bolts. You can use a 1/4" drive, you can use a 3/8 drive, depending on what y'all want to use. But this is my starter rebuild, and I've done a pretty good job with it too. But yeah, it looks great with new brushes. Trying to get ready for the winter here in Tennessee, Gallatin, Tennessee. We got a little bit of snow. Trying to get this starter rebuild, and I got to put more. Had to bend the spring out and everything else, and these new springs that you buy online, let me look for them. That's starter brush set. That's my glove. But yeah, I got a starter brush. Well, no, I got a spring. There it is. I got a spring. It wasn't the correct size. I got another one. I put the original back in. I just sprung it back out, and hopefully going to get 40 psi if I can get that far. Like I said, I put that back in the oil pump. Like I said, I'm going to finish up getting these bolts tightened in. And really not that hard to do the starter rebuild. It's better than buying a new one, cheaper. $13.34 is what me and my dad had to pay online, versus going to the store like Tractor Supply. They would just tell us to buy a whole new starter. And even when I can buy the brushes, I love buying the brush kit so I can rebuild it. You know, really not that hard to rebuild. You just got to make sure you get this little groove, everything hooked up together, and make sure your brushes are all good to go, because if you don't, it'll screw up on you like it did me. I did it incorrectly, and I had to redo it, and so far I've been doing pretty great, trying to make sure I get everything correct, because if you don't get them correct, they will obviously give you issues. And you make sure these bolts to the backing plate are very tight, not super tight, but just very, where you stop, and do the same thing over here and stop. But yeah, that's my starter rebuild. I love rebuilding these starters. It gives me something to do. It actually is pretty fun. Just make sure you clean your starter drive out. I clean mine out best I can, even with a wire brush on a drill bit, and it looks pretty good for what I can see from the holes, and even see from outside, even from the camera. But if I can get the camera to focus in on closer, there we go. Yeah, it looks brand new almost, even with getting the, like I said, you know, there's a wire in there, but yeah, everything looks good. Like I said, I couldn't show a whole video, but I took it all apart. It's real easy. You just take these two bolts out on top. Let the camera focus. There we go. Take these two bolts right here out, and this whole plate comes out. And you just take your springs out, which the springs are right in there. They're not hard to get to. But yeah, thought I'd make a YouTube video. I'm gonna make a YouTube video about this. It's not really hard. I actually have fun doing it, to be honest with you. I mean, heck fire, even a monkey can do it, if he took his time. If you take your time on anything, you can get everything right. Well, this is the end of my video. Signing off, Miller Bingham. Have a good day.